What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks MLB. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great betting content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Something went right today. Shohei Ohtani, right off the bat, half unit play, goes yard. There was plus 425 over at Bet365. Unfortunately, best I could find was plus 375. Always be shopping those lines. Again, Bet365 having the best line for that play. A lot of people happy in the premium Discord from that. We also paired it with over 1.5 total bases at plus money against Clark Schmidt. That shouldn't happen against Clark Schmidt. Shohei Ohtani, pretty good at baseball. Loved seeing it. First at bat homer, right out the get-go. Guaranteed a pretty nice day in the MLB streets, kind of no matter what happens the rest of the way. So looking forward to that. NBA-wise, we're going to be paying close attention to everything that just kind of got going about half an hour ago. I'm going to be covering NBA, Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Again, 3-gamer coming up for us on Wednesday, including my Minnesota Timberwolves. So give that a look, too, if you're interested. Going to be great stuff. But Bet365 talked about them from the get-go. I'll talk about them a little bit later, but it's available in only 4 states right now. It's available in New Jersey, Ohio, Virginia, and Colorado. If you live in one of those 4 states, congrats. You have to deposit $10, bet $1, and get $200 in bet credits. You do that at the link below. Super easy. You just click on the link, deposit the $10, bet 1 on anything. Doesn't matter what it is. And even if it loses, you get $200 in bet credits. So get your day started off with a win in one of those 4 states. And the other 46 states of us will be in shambles. That's what it is. But looking forward to this 15-gamer. Every team in play once again. Hey, it's fewer than 17 that we had there on Tuesday. But looking forward to this slate. Got some good ones and got some locks coming up for you late. That's for sure. 2 of those in the late night window. But enough dilly-dallying here at the top of the show. Let's get to the picks. My God, Tampa Bay. They're back to doing Tampa Bay things, just punishing Cincinnati. Go back from whence you came. It's you shall not pass. A lot of that stuff lately. It's wild. But I'm a little upset with the guy who's going to be taking the mound here in Cincinnati. His name's Drew Rasmussen. He got a little bit lit up there. Got a little litty there in Toronto. I don't think he was clubbing with Drake or anything of that nature, but got beat up there. That wasn't ideal. I didn't really see that one coming with the 21.4% hard hit percentage, 29.2% K rate. I thought one of the major reasons that we weren't going crazy about backing him in a substantial way at times was because, well, he wasn't pitching that deep into games, and no more. We saw 93 pitches, even though he gave up those 5 earned runs to Toronto. It was a bummer, and it was against my arch nemesis, Jose Berrios. But guess what? It's Jose Berrios Day. So we'll talk about that one at the very last little nook and cranny of the evening. That was a weird way of saying it. But from the Cincinnati side, pretty interesting guy we have on the mound there, Levi Stout. I like a stout beer or two. I don't know if I like a stout pitcher based on what I'm looking at here. Not a very high K rate at AAA Louisville. Louisville, for all the Louisville people, I had to make sure I threw that in there correctly. A 4.11 ERA long-term. I don't know, he's 25. I don't see a whole lot that should make us that encouraged for this start. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Tampa Bay is just hitting up everybody and their dog right now. Right now against righties, Tampa Bay, 151 WRC plus, just absolute ridiculous stuff that we're witnessing from them. And Levi Stout, righty. Wouldn't even matter if he was a lefty because Tampa Bay, 143 WRC plus against them, too. Small ballpark is what it is. But yes, they are a little bit better against right-handed pitching, even though they blew Lodolo out of the water. Good stuff. That wasn't great. But either way, I feel as though it's pretty hard to get away from leaning Tampa Bay minus 1.5, but I'm not in love with laying minus 125 in the first spot of the game. If I did anything here, I'd be hitting up home run props. I think that there's some opportunity to look at some of these lefties, but I think the books are starting to catch up on the fact that Tampa Bay confirmed pretty good, 15-3 now after their victory today by fatality. A little bit of that. So we're going to get away from it. Tampa Bay minus 1.5, just a lean. Probably not going to be betting this one aside from maybe a prop or two if they stand out. To Detroit we go. I don't know if that's a good thing. Do people like going to Detroit? I think they do. It's okay. Lions were really fun to watch this year. Got a great defense coming up. I mean, offensively, it was just a juggernaut this year, but I think they're going to have an improved defense. Just throwing it out there. NFL draft coverage coming up here on Stochastic pretty soon. Going to be awesome stuff. Might be actually spearheading some things, doing some shows there. Check it out. Go to Stochastic. subscribe to the DFS channel as well. Going to be awesome stuff over there. But let's talk Spencer Turnbull on the mound going up against Cal Quantrill. And Cal Quantrill, let me count the ways that I don't like Quantrill. 12% K rate, and Turnbull 15.9%. Not much better on the other side. Everything across the board looks pretty efficient here. Other than one thing, of course. That is the fact that why is 8.5 the prevailing number here? You get wider dimensions there up in Detroit's ballpark. Yeah, it might be harder to hit a ball out of the park, but overall, doubles increase in what is it? Not proximity. Doubles in frequency. That's the word that my brain was looking for. Frequency. We found it. Gabriel Arias, Josh Bell starting to hit the ball pretty hard, 45.5% hard hit percentage. They're joining Ahmed Rosario, who's kind of just been smashing the ball, nearly 50% hard hit percentage for him. And some other guys. Weird to watch Josh Naylor struggle as much as what he's done in the early window of these games. Hopefully he starts getting in the lineup against some of these righties if you've got him in year-long stuff. Be paying attention to that. But curious how this Cleveland lineup comes out. I have a very, very, very small play here on the over as of right now. Might increase it based on, I just want to make sure Cleveland, some of these morning games, you might get an interesting piece or two that you expected to be in the lineup who's not. In Detroit, I don't know if I like backing them against anybody, but at least you get this up against the preferred side for a guy like Kerry Carpenter, who's carrying this offense. Riley Green with the 42.9% hard hit percentage also from the left side. Think that them against Cal Quantrill, that's going to make a little bit of sense here. So Cal, he's been limiting some of the hard contact, but still a 468 slugging. Think the over of 8.5, going to be a just fine play here. Again, very small play as it stands right now. Might be looking to increase it going into tomorrow. Another like play on tap for us here. We've got Alex Cobb on the mound. Righty, once upon a time, pretty darn good. It's been a struggle bus this year. Going up against Trevor Rogers, who might be returning to form. But let's go back and talk Alex Cobb here. He's had some really nice outings. San Francisco, one of those teams that you also have to look at the home road splits because, well, it's very nice to be pitching in Giant Stadium. And whatever it's called now, it used to be AT&T. I hate the name changing. Can we just keep it everything? And I know it's Lone Depot out there in Marlinsville, but it is Marlins Park. Let's make that very, very clear. But Alex Cobb, this is going to be a great ballpark to be pitching in. And for the season, this Miami team against right-handed pitching, they're going to be a little bit better than they're going to be against lefties. So there's positives and negatives on both sides of the coin. But I am looking at Miami, and I really like what we're seeing from Trevor Rogers. And I have said this multiple times as well. You'll want to target the Giants with lefties. We're talking a 56 WRC plus, second worst mark in baseball. It is never good when you're in the company of the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers in terms of WRC plus against lefties. I don't know what to say. I think this is an absolute smash spot for this guy, Trevor Rogers, out here on the mound. So I am very excited about it, but I also think Alex Cobb can do just enough to maybe limit some of the damage here in Miami. So I've got a parlay in this one that I find to be a little bit interesting because I do think Miami on the money line could be a simple enough play. But because of the ballpark and because of the two offenses, I want to combine it with the under of 8. So I have a parlay piece. I know you guys are always interested in those when I actually do them, these 2-piece parlays, but under 8 runs plus Miami money line, a little bit of a buffer. Again, you can kind of react to how the day's going later in the day as well, because that'll be in play. So Miami, think they do just enough to get the W here, and Alex Cobb, just don't get completely shelled for me. That would be great. Thanks. Pretty unappealing spot that we head to next. We have Arizona, St. Louis. Looks like temperature pretty standard, really. I don't know if people want the Austin Power stuff. Usually when you look at Aton, you see the Dr. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my underground lair. Gathered here before me, the world's deadliest assassins, and yet Madison Bumgarner is pitching in the baseball, and that makes me mad. When I get mad, Mr. Bigglesworth gets upset. When Mr. Bigglesworth gets upset, people die. Madison Bumgarner, 326 expected batting average, 585 expected slugging. More like he dies when he goes out and pitches. It's not great. But Jake Woodford, we've been targeting him a lot. It's just that this number is already up to 9.5 here in St. Louis. And at least he can get by to a certain extent. I mean, he's a gas can. Let's be dead serious. Anybody who has a 60% hard hit percentage through 47 batted balls in play, we're starting to get that sample size up. It's going to be problematic. And I do like some of these lefties for the Arizona side. We've seen Alec Thomas start to come to fruition. We've seen Corbin Carroll come to fruition. Both of them just smashing baseballs in the face. And then Pavin Smith been leading this team in terms of hard hit percentage, and he's pretty much just going to be facing right-handed pitching going forward. So there's lots of ways I think Arizona can maybe be serviceable, and I'm thinking about that side of it too, but nothing projects out all that well to me here right now. I think we could get Arizona plus 165, plus 170, and if it doesn't move that direction, fine. We just pass tomorrow. And then the over of 9.5. I think we want this moving back down to 9. And if it's not going to be there, or if I have to be laying minus 115 like it looks right now, go ahead, pass. We want to be betting the good numbers when they're there, because just because I project this game for over 9.5 runs, minus 115 ain't it for me here. So over 9.5, just a lean against two pitchers. They got nothing in the tank. Another quick lean spot here, and my God, that under. I had to wait 2 days for that Zach Wheeler and Lance Lynn performance, really? What were they doing? Playing COD during their entire... It doesn't matter what they were doing for the last couple of days. It's just not getting ready to pitch, we'll put it that way. And these two pitchers, now I'm sure they're going to find some way to be serviceable because, of course, it's how this always works out. Whatever. I got the Ohtani bomb today, so I'm in a good mood. It'll be okay. Taijuan Walker going up against Mike Clevinger, 278 expected slugging, 177 expected batting average for Taijuan Walker. Really good mark in the early portion of this season, but as it always is said, it's early. So the 30-year-old, maybe there are noticeable improvements. I like the split finger, and that movement to the bottom left corner of the plate right now moves away from his four-seamer and sinker, which kind of sit higher in the zone. I think he's doing some good stuff. It's starting to show a little bit of the improvement. Limiting barrels, just 2 barrels now through 41 batted balls in play. That's a pretty good mark. So I will say Taijuan Walker's starting to perform in a pretty serviceable way. And Mike Clevinger, this would be the guy you would generally think of as the stud between the two, but I don't really see it right now. A 14.1% walk rate, a 2.20 ERA is just a figment of the imagination because a 5.96 expected ERA shows how lucky he's been. And maybe he continues it, but I think this number is priced in for the luck and kind of makes me excited to think about Philadelphia here. But the problem is that I missed this number when it was minus 110. It was sitting at minus 110 earlier, right at open. I should have bet it right from the get-go. Would have told you to bet it right from the get-go, but I have a feeling this Philadelphia money line starts trailing up to a place where I just have to stay away from this entire game. Philadelphia money line will still be the lean because, of course, this lineup is really fun. If you get Bryson Stott playing this kind of baseball all year long, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber now batting third, lots of ways that this could be very, very, very fun. So just start paying attention to it. Think it's something that you want to have on your radar for tomorrow morning. When you get up, if this number moves back to that minus 110, minus 115 segment, fire it up. But right now, just staying away. It is a lock. Yes, incoming lock for us here. Texas Rangers going up against the Kansas City Royals. And out of all 15 games today, there are 3 of these on the board, and this is the only one coming from the early portion of games. Then we got to wait a little while. So we'll be kicking it for a bit, but Brady Singer on the mound for Kansas City here as they host Martin Perez and the Texas Rangers. And I just got to start with this number because this was kind of the first thing that was really jarring to me. Against lefties this season, 32% K rate for the Royals, highest in baseball, a 56 WRC plus, and a 154 ISO. These are just abysmal numbers. Oh, and in terms of batting average, also worst in baseball against left-handed pitching, 188. Now, it's just 128 plate appearances, but I look at this lineup, and we know the guys who aren't going to be Kang and can be serviceable there. And it's just, it's Bobby Witt, be Sal Perez. It'll be these guys that just... Kansas City, it just feels as though MJ Melendez is going to be a guy who hits the ball hard against everybody, but it's not coming there to fruition at the moment. Vinny Pasquantino also does not strike out in any way, shape, or form, but not going to be very good against lefties. I think this back half of the lineup is so targetable, it's ridiculous. And you look at Texas Rangers, there's no Corey Seager still. He's going to be out for quite a while here. That's kind of a bummer, but there are still some bats, and we're seeing Janikowski batting up in that order. going up against these righties, and I think he's just going to be getting a ton of stolen bases. That is one of the things, some of these dudes that didn't really have a place in baseball, he only has 2 stolen bases, but he's creating a little bit of havoc on the base paths, hitting over 300, doing enough at the top of this Texas order to set the table for the likes of Adolis Garcia, for the likes of Mr. Josh Young. Enjoy a lot of these young bats up and down this order too. You got Nathaniel Lau, who is just going to be in there against righties as well, doing work. I think this is a very tough spot for a pitcher in Brady Singer, who doesn't bring anything to the table. A 697 expected slugging is about as bad as it gets. And his 70.6% hard hit percentage is the largest number out of starting pitching so far this season. Let me repeat, 70% hard hit percentage. It's ridiculous. I think this Texas Rangers team goes and plays T-ball in this one. I think Texas money line at -115 should be -130 or greater. And that becomes a lock play on this slate. Yes, lock play, simple unit for me, but maybe I add a little bit more. Maybe there's some props that I can attach to this one, but Texas money line, I think it's a phenomenal play. One of my 3 favorites on the board for Wednesday's slate. Look at this hooligan, Bet 365. He's so excited about it. He's just overcome with joy. God, I hate this picture. Well, whatever, Bet 365, if they're going to have this promotion going forever, I'm okay with looking like an idiot. You know why? Because everything else about this is great. You sign up in the video description box below if you live in one of these 4 states: Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia. You deposit $10 or more. You bet one of those dollars on anything that I talked about in the MLB today or anything else your heart desires. And even if that dollar bet loses, you get $200 in bonus bets. You can put it on whatever you want. You want to put on another Ohtani home run tomorrow? Have fun with that. Can't believe that was almost plus 400. What a broken number that was. But either way, bet $1, get $200 in bonus bets. There aren't many books doing anything close to this. Actually, there are no books really doing anything close to this. So take advantage by betting your $1 at Bet 365 in Ohio, Virginia, New Jersey, and Colorado right now, only if you're 21 and over. Please gamble responsibly, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. Lots of them to come. I always like when my research takes me down interesting paths, and this isn't something that's unknown to me in this spot with Noah Syndergaard on the mound from one side and Max Scherzer on the other. And you know what? Let's get the Max Scherzer side of this one out of the way. He's making his first start here in a hot second. I'm not positive if he's going to be on a pitch count per se. Looking through everything, it seems as though he should be okay, but with it being a side and a back issue, with as much money as has been dumped into this Mets team this season, I can't imagine that they're going to let their star ace go out. Well, I mean, if he goes crazy and says, you're not taking me out, what are you going to do to Max Scherzer? Because he's a psychopath. But either way, I expect him to show out a little bit better than we saw in his first 3 starts. Again, just a couple days delay in terms of his next start here, 9 days apart. Should be good stuff, though. We'll see. I don't think he'll have a crazy limitation, but I can't imagine they're going to let him go 95, 100 uninhibited, even though 95 and 97, his last 2 outings. Just be on the lookout. Doubt they say anything about a pitch count, but just a small cap that I'm putting in place when looking at this game. But my play comes on the Noah Syndergaard side, and Noah Syndergaard, infamously, if you will, one of the worst at holding runners in all of baseball. And there's an interesting side thing going on in this one where you could be looking at Austin Wynns out there catching. You could be looking at Austin Barnes, who's actually a decent, serviceable catcher defensively, but Austin Wynns is not. And I don't know which of the 2 is going to be out there. And this plays a lean anyway because I don't have a number on it, but I want to attack Noah Syndergaard with base runners. This rule change is not good, specifically for Noah Syndergaard, one of the slowest guys to throw to the plate this season. In fact, in his first 3 starts, already allowed 6 stolen bases. So there you go. You wanted to go down a stolen base path? Who could we possibly do that with on the Mets side? Oh yeah, Starling Marte. Infamously, one of the, well, not infamously, that's the wrong word there. Famously, one of the best in terms of just being able to go out and steal bags and hit for power, and can generally add a lot for you from a fantasy baseball perspective as a result. But I am looking specifically at his stolen base totals this season already in the early season through 56 at-bats. The man has 7 stolen bases. So if he gets on against Noah Syndergaard. He is running that way really fast. And usually you're going to get very nice plus money to account for the fact that stolen bases don't happen very often. So Starling Marte is the guy that I want to attach to anything in this game, or just bet it individually like I'm going to. So I'm expecting better than plus 300. Okay. That's like the absolute stone cold minimum. If it's anywhere north of that, which it absolutely should be, you should fire this one to the moon. You could even attach it to a Francisco Lindor or something of that nature. But if somebody gets on base and they are competent in running, even a Jeff McNeil in this spot, Noah Syndergaard, he's not holding him, especially if Austin Wynns is his personal caddy. We go from a pretty intensive breakdown here of Mr. Noah Syndergaard to a pretty, I don't really want to break this one down, but I shall, because Austin Gomber, he's going to be on the mound for Colorado. Kind of enjoy Johan Oviedo. We kind of called that that emergence a little bit. You never know what you're going to get. It's like the life is a box of chocolates thing. I'm not going to do the Forrest Gump. It's terrible. I don't have that one down. Probably should add it to the repertoire. But Johan Oviedo, you never know what you're going to get when a guy goes from being a primary bullpen arm to being stretched out. But if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, you got to really like what you've seen of late. Through 3 starts, a 2.46 ERA, 1.20 whip, and the K's have really shown out. He went nuts against St. Louis, and revenge was certainly in his heart for that one. But a 278 xWOBA, 366 expected slugging, everything in terms of StatCast looks really nice across the board. And Austin Gomber, he's going to limit the hard contact from time to time. That's kind of his repertoire. That's what you need to have. You need to have the ball on the ground, or you need to really limit hard contact when you're a pitcher in Colorado for a majority of your games. But Austin Gomber, not my favorite of the grouping. I have this projecting out as an under, just like I did the day before, but I still couldn't pull the trigger. Again, it was like right on that fringe. This should be a like, but I'm going to make it a lean. Same kind of thing. I'm going nuts about these because I have this projected at 10 runs, and that should be a smash, actually, but I can't do it. 11.5 runs. I would rather stay away. It's an afternoon game there in Colorado. Looks like the conditions are going to be just fine for hitting. We're talking 58, 60-degree weather in the afternoon. A little sunshine. Would be a great day to go take in a ball game, but the under of 11.5 is where I'm leaning on this one, even though it should be a play. No line out for this one yet, but I think we know it's going to be James Caprillion. I think that's the one we're officially waiting on, because Justin Steele is certainly pitching here for the Cubs. And Justin Steele is picking up right where he left off last year, where we just backed him like crazy. And the Cubs, shout out this baseball team. They're showing out this year already. A winning record, 9-7, went 10-1 yesterday. We'll see what they end up doing tonight. Wild stuff from Chicago, improved lineup. Think you might be finding some guys. Wisniewski, there's some nice stuff. Justin Steele from the left side here, though. This southpaw gets a phenomenal matchup going up against Oakland, who isn't going to be able to hit anybody, although they have been a above average team against lefties so far this season. A 106 WRC plus. I expect major regression, and part of that is because they have a .094 ISO. That is not getting it done. That is 5th worst in baseball, and when you play in a ballpark, a cavern like they do in Oakland, you're not going to be running into a very good situation against somebody as good as Steele with the 27.7% hard hit percentage and 26.4% K rate. And James Caprillion, 575 expected slugging with a 16.7% walk rate. These are abysmal numbers. We don't like to see either of those things, but actually we do when we want to target them. I really do want to target him here with the Cubs money line play, but kind of need to know the line. You play to win the game, and everything is dependent on it. Like, again, you could end up on Oakland if you gave me plus 300 here, plus 200. There's no chance in hell I'm touching this number. There's stuff like that you always have to consider. So I'm leaning the Cubs money line. That's, of course, what you should be leaning. Wish there was a line out. To Seattle we go. We're going to go look at the Space Needle. We're going to go to the beautiful gardens that they have. They have the Truly Glass exhibit, too. You got to check that out. It's good stuff. All right, I'm not on the board of tourism for Seattle. Just had a really nice vacation there with my wife one time. But either way, looking over on the Milwaukee Brewers, we've got Seattle on the other side and 2 southpaws that are going to be on the mound for this one. Eric Lauer going up against Marco Gonzalez. One I kind of like. Eric Lauer had an unsustainable K rate at the first half of last year. We've seen it top off, and now it's at 22.7% in the early stage of this year with a 409 xWOBA, 50% hard hit percentage. Nothing great there. And Marco Gonzalez on the other side, he is okay, but again, I hate him. Like, he's okay so far this year. 286 expected batting average, but a 13% K rate. That is so difficult to take. It's just not something that I'm ever going to be wanting to take, because I find him to be extremely lucky with the ballpark that he pitches in. Yes, Seattle, one of the better pitchers ballparks in baseball. So pretty straightforward for me here. One pitcher I kind of like, one pitcher I really don't. Milwaukee money line. I like it at plus money. I think it's pretty simple. Yes, does Milwaukee struggle against lefties? They sure do. So does Seattle right now, both below average. Milwaukee money line. I'm done talking. We got 5 games to go. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, especially if you're enjoying this content. It's fun stuff. Breaking down 15 MLB games a day. That seems to be kind of what we've been doing here of late, but interesting spot with Charlie Morton going up against Nick Martinez. Charlie Morton, what happened to the K rate? I don't know. 15.2% K rate. Looking through some of his velocity numbers, it seems as though he's going to be okay. I mean, he had a 94.7% fastball here so far this season, 94.9 miles per hour last year. Velocity is not the issue. Spin rate on his curveball seems exactly the same. I don't know what to make of it. All I know is that curveball with a 41.8% whiff percentage last year and a 29% put away percentage is down to 28% and 25.9% respectively. So if that pitch, which is his primary pitch, isn't moving, then he's not going to be getting swings and misses. And that's going to be a problem for a 39-year-old who may just be past his prime. That might be what we're witnessing. It's still early in the season, so I don't want to go to too many crazy conclusions. But yeah, this is going to be a tough spot. But so is it for Nick Martinez, and I find Atlanta to be the substantially better bullpen too. So Nick Martinez, 28.1% hard hit percentage. That's great. But everything else, the 14% K rate, 12.8% walk rate, 295 expected batting average. Nothing looks good on that side. Now, with Morton, part of me really wants to just click the button, back him, and move on with my day, but you got San Diego there, and sounds like they're going to be getting Tatis on Thursday. He does avoid that addition to the lineup, but they have so many lefties that it just feels like we should be going to other spots. Going to be just passing on Atlanta, although that would be the lean here. Atlanta money line, not for me. Back to Yankees Stadium we go, and Griffin Canning going to be on the mound here for the Halos, going up against Johnny Brito, who just got beat up. Johnny Brito, with this changeup, found a massive outing for the Minnesota Twins the other night. I don't even know if we should just discount this and move on because it was that bad, but there comes a time where you kind of are who you are. 7 earned runs, didn't even get out of the first inning. Minnesota goes out and wins 11-2, just inflates everything across the board. And we had seen the ground balls there, but this is one of those things where pitchers come into the league, they start getting the scouting report on them, and major league hitters are going to punish you if you're a one-trick pony, unless that one trick is just outrageous, which the changeup is really good. I find it to be a pretty appealing pitch, but doesn't really have an offering to pair with it. You want to kind of have another pitch that can break away in a different direction or has the identical arm angle. But yeah, this changeup getting thrown 35% of the time, the fastball 25 with the sinker. It's not really going to be that appealing, I think, at the big league level. We've seen a 7.71 expected ERA for him through 3 starts. Might just be problems here once again going up against the Halos. But on the other side, you got Griffin Canning, and this is kind of a big question mark for me on the slate. We saw him pitch, 7 days ago. He ended up staying up in the rotation here. 5 innings, 2 earned, was okay in 69 pitches, but this might be turned over a little bit earlier than I would like to the Angels bullpen, which I've been betting the Angels a lot in this bullpen is going to drive me absolutely batshit crazy at some point in time. So I'm just going to lean the Halos here. Probably ends up on the card in some capacity, but plus money here, but maybe we find a better spot here. I've just been betting this Angels team way too much. They project out so well for me every single time. What am I supposed to do? Oh yeah, I should probably show caution considering this Yankees lineup confirmed. Top of it, outrageous. Washington and Baltimore, another game that's going to go pretty quickly here for us, and said it multiple times. I don't like this Baltimore starting rotation. I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. But Kyle Bradish, I kind of like. And we haven't seen him since his one stint, 1 2/3, just 28 pitches. And then sounds as though he's going to be getting some kind of a normal workload here. He got up to 83 pitches. Pitched in Double-A. I have no idea how to assess anything there, and neither do the books. That's why you see NAs across the screen. Soon to be Kyle Bradish, though, here on the mound, and I liked some of his stuff last year, even though it didn't come to fruition. But Mackenzie Gore, he's been much improved this year. Had a tougher outing against the Angels. A lot of lefties are going to have tough outings against the Angels this season. Still found the strikeout, 6 in 3 straight outings. All of his outings so far this season. A 3 ERA, 2-0. Everything looks decent there. Baltimore, a really good lineup on the other side. That's why we're going to be leaning their direction. But I'm assuming they end up with some nice minus money attached to them. So I might be looking to the Mackenzie Gore side for a strikeout prop or two. Just going to be leaning Baltimore money line. Not a whole lot else to add. Love their lineup, as should you. Jorge Mateo, still batting 8th. Move him up. Move him up in the line. Whatever. That's a conversation for a different day, different show. Baltimore, money line, leaning it. You're probably wondering, Eric, you said you had 3 locks. I've only heard 1 the whole way. Well, welcome to the main event, friends. We've got 2 of them back to back. We start with Minnesota and Joe Ryan. I was very wrong about Joe Ryan. Maybe it's just the pessimist in me, the Minnesota pessimist sports fan, but he has been, he's been ridiculous this season with a 37% K rate, 153 expected batting average, sub 200 xWOBA. Across the board, he's been excellent. Yes, does Boston have some lefties who can do some things with Rafael Devers and his 663 expected slugging? Sure. Is Alex Verdugo and his 337 expected batting average going to contest maybe for a batting championship? Who knows? We shall find out. 394 xWOBA looks really good as well. But Yoshida has been struggling a little bit at the plate. 277 expected slugging, 177 expected batting average, just a 34.2% hard hit percentage, and averaging it into the ground, just spiking pretty much everything into the ground so far this year. Ground ball specialist, that is not good. So Joe Ryan, I think it's a better matchup than people are assuming and than this line is assuming. So Corey Kluber on the other side, we're looking at a 52.6% hard hit percentage, 506 expected slugging, 22.8% K rate. And yes, is Chris Sale just mowing down Minnesota Twins here as we speak? Sure is. He had 6 strikeouts in his first 2 innings. What's he at now? He's at 9. He's at 9 through 5. It's 1-1. Come on, Twins. Find a way to just get that one. But either way, Minnesota, this lineup is not very good at the moment. As I look through it, Solano leading off. Outside of Correa, Buxton, Miranda, the whole back half is just not very good. Kepler did get back into the mix here. He's going to be facing these righties, so he'll be in the back half of the lineup. Was batting 8th today. We'll see if he can start putting some improvement together. But as it stands right now, Boston, I'm just targeting them with Joe Ryan. This could be a first 5 innings play if you really wanted to as well. Don't know if I would want to be backing it on the half-run line when we're talking about first 5, but I think I might just take it as a straight-up play. Bet there's going to be some massive juice attached to it when we see those numbers tomorrow. But right now, I am more than happy to bet the Minnesota minus 115 here up against Kluber. Don't find him to be all that appealing. And even though I just besmirched the good name of this Minnesota Twins lineup, there's no besmirching the good name of Joe Ryan, a pitcher I'm very happy to be wrong about, because he pitches for my team. So it's been a great couple of years now enjoying his dominance. Just actually been dominant. Weird to say. This isn't weird to say. Happy Jose Barrios Day to all who celebrate. Let's party. Let's get weird. Well, actually, we're not going to get weird. We're going to get what we always do. Jose Barrios on the mound here for the Toronto Blue Jays, going up against Luis Garcia, who's really been on the struggle bus, and it's a little bit unappealing to me. But we're gonna set the table here and why I think Luis Garcia is going to be okay. Jose Barrios, 54.5% hard hit percentage at a 491 expected slugging. And so far this season, we have really got the better of him in 2 spots. The Tampa Bay spot, they were dogs still, so it was okay. I'll take it. With Drew Rasmussen, can't believe Drew Rasmussen got lit up in that outing. But a lot of people, a lot of good pitchers are going to get lit up randomly by Toronto this season. But with Luis Garcia, I think it's just been a little bit of unlucky stuff to begin out the season. I don't know a better way of putting it. A 5.58 expected slugging, and yes, the expected ERA, 7.52 expected ERA. By all intents and purposes, you would think, yeah, this is going to continue. But I look at the velocity numbers, and it's been down 1.3 miles per hour. But the cutter, slider, curveball, everything else looks to be just fine in terms of spin rate, in terms of velocity. Maybe he just needed a second to ramp it up. And so I'm not hitting the absolute panic button yet. And it's also just, I mean, it's Jose Barrios on the other side. I was looking at the total because I do love myself a good little Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez kind of combination. I love Toronto's lineup. There's no doubt about it. But when you start giving me minus 120 on a Houston team against Jose Barrios, that has to be the lock play. So thought about attaching the 9.5 to it. Have that on your radar for this play as well. But I expect Luis Garcia to get back to what he was, to get back to where he once belonged, as the Beatles would say. A 3.59 expected ERA last year. Again, he did not just fall off the map immediately. I refuse to believe it. Just 26. Everything is going to start getting better for him here. Hopefully starts against our guy Barrios, who, track record, way overrated. Minus 120. Lock play Houston. Let's get out of here. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays for Wednesday's slate. Check out Bet365 if you're in one of the 4 states I mentioned before: New Jersey, Ohio, Virginia, and Colorado. Alrighty, y'all. I'll be back on Thursday. Another edition of MLB and NBA Lindy's coming down the pipeline here at the Odd Shopper. But yeah, let's just get out of here. That's all I got for today. Until tomorrow, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Wednesday.